This is Nod Magazine by John Stater. John's one of the most prolific writers in the OSR and has been for like the last 10 years or so. This stack is just part of the series of magazines that he's done over the years. I have maybe about 18 of them or so. He's supposed to be putting out a new one pretty soon. It's in number 36-ish. The first 7 of them are kind of noted as being compatible with swords and wizardry, and they kind of stay more kind of in tone closer to that OD&D kind of a game. And principally what Nod is his campaign world, and it is like a Wilderlands of High Fantasy kind of setting. So these are hex crawls, really, but they're filled with lots of other things too. New character classes and options for old school games, small little mini adventures and mini dungeons, and sometimes even as the series goes on, he'll even throw like in mini games into to the issues. This is issue 1, and this is, I believe, still free on his website, which through PDF, and it gives you a good kind of example of what kind of a setting this is. Here's a map of the campaign world, like an overall map, and you'll see he gives kind of like some tweaks to old school rules, some different new classes. There's a paladin subclass, there's a monk subclass, swashbuckler. He gives a page here of boons and benefactions, a good way to kind of spice up OD&D characters without totally breaking them, kind of like a mini feats. Then it starts with the Wyvern Coast, which is kind of his sword and sandals kind of setting for this. So it's very sword and sorcery kind of feel in these first few issues. You'll note here that he gives kind of like a hex map. These can be difficult to read in the print versions, but the PDFs are pretty clear. So the PDFs are worth getting if you have, if you prefer that. They're like $3.50 as PDF. The single issues are anywhere from like between $8 to $12 a piece, and they range anywhere from like 40 to 50 pages to like 120 pages. So that's issue 1. Issue 2 kind of gives you like a city, kind of a corrupt city, the Ophir the Wicked. I started a campaign last year before pandemic, but it gives you a couple new thief classes as well. And like I said, John is one of the best, I think, hex crawl writers out there. This is probably one of my, if not the favorite one here. Issue 3 is very good. It's 120 pages. It's kind of got an Egyptian kind of theme to it. It's kind of the Nabu Desert area, which is near the Wyvern Coast. But like I said, he's got these kind of like little mini adventures that are very good, very kind of strange and mysterious, evocative, small little adventures that have like a really kind of deep, mystic, old school vibe to them. And issue 4, 5, and 6. 6, I think, is also free on his website, or at least it was at one time as a PDF. It's kind of a Christmas issue, pretty thick. There's like a dungeon adventure throughout each of these, and he starts reprinting a short story, I think in issue 2 or so. It's now public domain. But yeah, these are pretty terrific. And then I skipped from like issue 7. He did like a 5 or 6 part hex crawl through hell, kind of like a take on Judges Guild's Inferno. Lots of great art, the covers, and these a lot of times will have demons in here, and he does it each circle, kind of. So this is like through Dante's hell. I have a couple issues here that go through Kush, which is his kind of like jungle African setting, and then a couple setting kind of that are close to like an Indian subcontinent kind of setting. And starting, at least as far as I have anyway here, he starts to number the hex crawls, like you'll see here, stronghold or a settlement. or a dungeon, or a wonder, or a city-state that you might come across, or a monster. And I just have that through issue 29. More than just these two, I've got a couple other hex crawls he did for Frog God Games. These are pretty good as well. Just he gets a lot done really quickly, and it has this really kind of folklore, kind of mythic kind of quality to it. He also has written over like a dozen games out there. Here's like a little mini game, his Barbarians and Basilisks, and Black Death, which kind of has a early modern era kind of similar to Lamentations of the Flame Princess. And these are a lot of times are like 2d6 kind of games. His main game, I think, is Blood and Treasure, which is kind of a cross between maybe 2nd edition and 3rd edition Dungeons and Dragons. So throughout all of these, though, there's just a wealth of cool stuff in here that he's done. And they're certainly worth checking out. Like I said, the PDFs are $3.50, so they're definitely worth a look at that price. Yeah, so it's worth checking out. I'll put some links below so you can give a nod to check out.